All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Trevon Fordham, and I'm the Director for the City of Columbia, Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. I want to start off by saying that even though we had some rain earlier today, it's still a beautiful day. So as we all know, as we're outside of the house of God, the house of faith, even in the midst of our rainy days, there are still beautiful blessings. And today is another great day in the City of Columbia where we are celebrating a beautiful blessing. And that is the blessing of partnerships. As we're here to announce updates to the initiative we launched back in December of 2024, which is for the 4-Block Promise Community Engagement Initiative. Before I go any further, I just want to take an opportunity to show appreciation to everybody that's out here today. It really shows your commitment and dedication to furthering our communities. And so, if you would give yourselves a round of applause for just being here today, because that says a lot. Thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge our team here at the City of Columbia Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, who do an amazing job. We have with us Mrs. Keisha Washington, who does a lot of work when it comes to our community engagement and outreach. Also, Mrs. Amy Free, who works on our SCORF, or South Carolina Opioid Recovery Fund project. And not standing up here with us right now is Ms. Kimberly Goethe. She's actually setting up for our anti-bullying workshop that starts at 5 p.m. that she's spearheading. By the way, this week is Youth Violence Prevention Week in the City of Columbia. We started on Monday with Wear Orange, and then we'll go until Saturday with our artistic expression. So just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to you all, and thanks to the team for all that they do every day. Now as we get to the initiative for the 4-Block Promise. It's a citywide initiative that focuses on building up our communities one block at a time by working with our faith-based and our worship leaders. We wanted to expand our community footprints by working with partners who traditionally government has not necessarily worked hand in hand with traditionally. So with that, we looked back and we kind of said, how can we really have more of an impact? Knowing that we have a lot of different places of worship throughout the city, over 1,400 to be exact. And so we knew that we have places of worship who are doing outreach, engagement, and just fellowship every single day. So that was the primary purpose as we kept really wanting to increase our footprint in communities as a city. So again, as we have over 1,400 identified places of worship in the city, we had to be very intentional about who we approach first, of course, right? So we started having meetings since December, as we talked about, and we really started working with some of our faith-based leaders who are in, some would say, our areas of greatest violence or highest violence. But I call it our greatest opportunity zones, because that's truly what they are. And so we've been sitting down with different faith-based leaders, worship leaders, and we've been talking about what they're seeing, what they're experiencing, what's going on just around their church, and how we can work with them to have an impact block by block. That plan was for us to really come and provide partnerships and initiatives that included hosting community outreach and engagement events, providing volunteer opportunities outside of churches and places of worship, and also collaborating on other safety initiatives. So all of that was with the aim of increasing engagement and outreach just 4 blocks around each place of worship. Since then, our office has sat down with several faith-based leaders and worship leaders, again, to hear from them, talk about existing efforts at their church, talk about their ministries to gather their insight, but most importantly, to really see how we can work together. And so that's what brings us here today at Eau Claire Baptist Church. For all of the work that they've done in the past and all the work that they're continuing to do through all of their ministries. When we sat down and we talked with them and we talked about how we can be effective in the partnership, how we can expand the things that they're doing already. It was their insight that really showed us, and really, as I sat with them and talked, and we were talking about what outreach truly is, right? Because a lot of times when we think about outreach, folks think about coming to a building. But it was the meeting, sitting down, and Whitney was on the phone, and Wesley and Mr. Hammond, and they talked about, we know the community. Sometimes it's challenging to get folks to come to the building. So we want to do something a little bit different. We want to do something just a little bit different when we talk about outreach. And so we'll get to what that little bit different is here in a little bit. But again, it's because of that insight. It's because of them really knowing this community, their community, And it's because of the work that they do every day. And that's why we're here. So you'll hear from the leadership at Eau Claire Baptist Church. You'll hear from the founder of Dolly's House Clothing Ministries. And then we will come back and provide additional details about upcoming efforts and activities through the 4-Block Promise. So at this time, I'll step aside and I'll call upon Dr. Stephen Boatnight, who is the pastor of Eau Claire Baptist Church, to come forward and provide remarks on behalf of Eau Claire Baptist Church. Following Pastor Boatnight, you will hear from Dr. Richard Moore, who's a deacon and clerk at the church. Then you will hear from Miss Whitney Spry, who's the founder of Dolly's House Clothing Ministry. And then I will come back and provide additional details about the 4-Block Promise Community Engagement Initiative. Pastor Boatnight.
Good afternoon. The congregation of Eau Claire Baptist Church is passionate about making a difference in the lives of people within the Eau Claire community and beyond. Founded in 1921, Eau Claire Baptist recently celebrated over 100 years of ministry in the Eau Claire community, and our congregation seeks to be relevant in genuine, heartfelt ministry to people of varying ages, races, and ethnic backgrounds. Our foundation is the gospel of Jesus Christ, with a desire to share God's love and hope of eternal salvation with all we come in contact with. To help with this, we really have 4 areas of focus that I wanted to highlight for you today. First, we are worship focused, and this happens through weekly worship gatherings, small group gatherings, prayer walk events. Some of these are, of course, our weekly Sunday services, Wednesday evening services, our Wednesday night groups. We're blessed to have an amazing mother support group. We also provide a meal, and that often helps our neighbors and the community gather together for a great time of fellowship and encouragement. Back in the fall, we were able to exemplify our focus on worship by having a community prayer walk, and we had a lot of our community leaders that participated in that from the Richland County Sheriff's Department as well. Second, one of our focuses is to be community focused. On our church's website, you'll see information about a nonprofit ministry that we partner with, Koinonia of Columbia. In fact, there's a group in the upstairs of the 3rd floor next door, and they're taking part in an after-school program, and they help to reinforce the vision of our congregation through aspects of providing means of safe and healthy communities, through a summer enrichment program, after-school programs, the mother support group that I referenced earlier, equal access for all resources. Recently, a community garden bed was established through a local scout troop. And then economic opportunities through things like quality affordable housing, youth apprentice work, and asset-based craft markets. So not only do we have a focus on worship and community, but third, we're needs focused, and that's what I'm excited that you're going to hear a little bit more about today. For example, Dolly's House Clothing Ministry that you'll hear about shortly. That will be going mobile this Saturday, so we're so excited for Whitney and that ministry in honor of her mom. In the fall, you'll find us helping with Northside Baptist and Koinonia of Columbia. Last fall, we helped in distributing over 130 Thanksgiving baskets to the community. And then also we have a partnership with Gable Oaks for a food pantry collaboration. And so we're always encouraged to help families in need through that ministry as well. And then fourth, we are partner focused. And so we're so grateful for your office that is leading this initiative, but we are partner focused. Not only with the City of Columbia, but for example, coming up on May the 18th, we are partnering with other congregations in our community, we're hosting here Sunday evening, May 18th, a youth and community prayer service to really give support to the young people of our community, to really surround them with prayer, to reach out to them. And so 4 other congregations are joining with us to do that event Sunday evening, May 18th. Also, another way we're partner focused is on Sunday morning, May 18th. We're having a special service for law enforcement and first responders. So we'll be honoring them in our morning worship service and hosting what we hope will be many from our first responding agencies throughout the city of Columbia and beyond. I'll just close before I turn it over to one of our deacons, Dr. Richard Moore. All of this happens because of the members of the Eau Claire Baptist Church. And so I'm excited for you to hear from Dr. Moore and from Whitney today about ways that they serve and so many others. And then I would just say ways that you could maybe help support us is we're always looking for food pantry donations, and then also to help us spread the word about those 2 events on May 18th for the first responder service in the morning and for the community youth prayer event that evening, May 18th. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Moore.
Thank you, Stephen. Good afternoon. I could pretty much just say ditto and be done, but I did want to put kind of a personal spin on this as a member of the church for more than 60 years that I've been a member here, and throughout those years we've always included the children and youth of our community in our church activities, and through that developed relationships with their families. We have facilitated young people going to camps, sponsored vacation Bible schools and teen colleges every summer. We've also included them in our children and youth missions organizations like Mission Friends for preschool children, Royal Ambassadors for boys and young men, and Girls in Action and Act Teens for girls and young women, Sunday school and worship services. As a part of these activities, the participants are not only on the receiving end of mission and ministry efforts, but they learn that regardless of their personal or family situation, they too can have a positive influence, minister to others in need, and develop a mission-mindedness that is essential in supportive communities. All this has culminated in the current ministries of the church and our partnership with Koinonia of Columbia. We see that partnerships are an extension of our vision of Eau Claire Baptist Church and its community. Missions, the act of ministering to the physical, spiritual, emotional, and social needs of others, is caught, not taught. And this 4-block promise initiative is another way for us to continue to be a positive influence for Christ in the 29203 area for another 100 years. Thank you.
So, I'm Whitney Spry, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Dolly's House. So, Dolly's House was founded in honor of my mom, the late Willa Davis. She was a missionary president for New St. Thomas Reformed Episcopal Church around the corner. And my mom was someone who was always giving. Say, for instance, if she was at a store and she saw something that, if you saw something she had on and wanted it, she would literally give you the shirt off her back. She passed away tragically from cancer in March of 2021. And I always said, what is something that I can do to honor God and keep my mom's legacy going? And there came the thought of Dolly's House. Dolly is my mom's nickname, and she was always giving. One way was through the high rise off of Reed Street, and she would do bingo, clothing giveaways, and things like that. And so one thing that attracted her was feeding people and also clothing. So like Dr. Moore and Pastor Stephen said, on Wednesdays we feed. And thanks to Miss Carolyn, I'm able to help with that. But I said, how can I do more? And so clothes. It started off with helping Koinonia for their scholars, trying to do something for them. And then it came into something bigger. church council allowed me to do a community giveaway, and I'm gonna put Miss Sandy on the spot. She came in and she said, why don't we keep this? And that was an answer to prayer, because that wasn't something that I had initially asked the church, but to be honest, that was my goal, because I knew in the community of where we serve, there is always a need. There are always going to be some type of financial issues, and so to take one thing to lessen the load, that was something I wanted to do, and something I could do to honor God and to honor my mom in the same way. As Pastor Stephen said earlier, Dolly's House is going mobile. So on a conversation with, I'll call him Fordham, and Wesley and Mr. Richard, they were talking about reaching the community. A lot of times people don't want to come into the four walls of the church, maybe because they don't feel welcome, they don't have transportation, whatever the matters are. And so on this Saturday, we will start at Dora Randall, the apartments up the street, meeting people where they are. So taking the church bus, Mr. Wesley is our bus driver, and I'm so happy that we'll be able to take clothes to the community for young people, for older people, and everyone in between. I want to make sure I'm doing the points here. My reason for giving back, like I said, for one, I grew up always giving. They say it's more blessed to give than to receive. And so for me, that's how my mom and dad raised me. And so again, Dolly's House was birthed in honor of my mom, but it's something that as a church we can share, and as a community we can share. So that's Dolly's House.
Okay. So thanks to Pastor Boatnight, thanks to Dr. Moore, and also thanks to Whitney for those remarks. As you heard from the things that they talked about, Eau Claire Baptist Church, their ministries, Dolly's House, Koinonia, these things aren't new. They're not new. They've been doing this work in the community. So that's why we're fortunate as a city to be able to partner with them to just extend beyond through the Four Black Promise Initiative of things that they're already doing. And that was the actual hope and goal as we talk about the Four Black Promise Initiative, is working with faith-based leaders and worship leaders to simply say, how can we assist with what you're already doing? What resources, support, coordination can we provide? So with that and with those conversations, really also just reaching out to the Columbia Housing Authority, sitting down, having a meeting with them, bringing them to the table when it comes to this in their property. So again, thanks to the leadership at Eau Claire Baptist Church for all that you all continue to do. Thanks to the community members and the members of the church, also with Whitney. As we talk about just special recognitions and thank yous, I also want to take the time to thank who's not here today. He's still with us. He's not here today. Mr. Timothy Davis, who I say is the architect of the Four Block Promise. He's a lifelong resident of the city of Columbia. I sat down, I met with him, and he shared his vision of having more churches, more places of worship to increase their engagement, just 4 blocks around their church. And he said, if we can do that, Trevon, we can really make a difference. And that's where this vision came from. So anytime we talk about the 4 Block Promise, I always want to give him kudos and just credit for that. I want to thank again the folks at the Columbia Housing Authority who we've been working with in partnership. Of course, our Parks and Recreation Department, our Public Relations, Media and Marketing team, who always do an amazing job. And also our external media partners as well, too, for being here today. As Whitney mentioned, April 26th, starting at 10 o'clock, the bus will be at Dora Randall Apartments. We'll be at Dora Randall Apartments. And as Whitney said, there's nothing more important than meeting people where they are. That's so important when you talk about sometimes outreach is actually going out. So April 26th from 10 a.m. to noon, the bus, folks from Eau Claire Baptist Church, Dolly's House Clothing Ministry, our team as well from the city, and there'll be some other helping hands that will be out there. We'll be at Dora Randall Apartment Complex. And that is the first stop. And as Whitney says, when it comes down to Dolly's House, Their mission is to give and provide and do. So that is the first stop. When we talk about next steps for just the 4-Block Promise in general, this is the first partnership event through this initiative. As we sat down with other faith-based leaders, there are others that are going to be planned. Everything from community resource fairs that will be hosted at different churches and places of worship, safety and educational workshops. Others wanted to actually have their members to actually come out and volunteer at some of city events. So there are several things that are in the works that will be coming up when we talk about other activities that will fall under the partnerships of the 4-Block Promise Initiative. The key to everything we've talked about here today, partnerships, collaborations. As we continue to make our neighborhood safer through our initiatives here at the City of Columbia, it's all about the partnerships and collaborations. We know that no one person, no one entity, no one thing can do this alone. It's by us working together that we can all see differences. So again, as we move forward, not just with this event this Saturday, as we're kicking off Dolly's House Clothing Ministries going mobile at Dora Randall Apartments from 10 a.m. to noon. That will be the first kickoff event in partnership with the 4-Block Promise Initiative. And so I also want to take the moment to recognize and acknowledge our Assistant City Manager for Operations, Mr. Henry Simons, who's here with us as well today. It's through his support and leadership that initiatives like this happen throughout the City of Columbia. Would you like to say any words? Nope? Okay. Would you all like to say anything else? Nope? All right. If there's nothing else, I will just close by saying, just summarizing, again, when we talk about the 4-Block Promise Initiative, it's a citywide initiative where we as a city want to continue our partnerships. We want to expand our community footprints by working with our faith-based and worship leaders, okay? And we're doing that through hosting different events, by having congregants, members who go to places of worship volunteer at specific events, providing training and technical assistance. We've had that request as well too. But by all of us working together to be more active in engaging our residents in our communities. Because we all know that now more than ever, we need the help of all of our community-based organizations to join together, to join forces so that we can work to address all of our challenges that impact our residents. It is important that each organization be equipped with the tools and have the capacity needed to not only partner with the city in implementing this vision, but also for them to continue that vision of their outreach and engagement efforts. So as I said, this will not be a one-off. I said it back in December, and this is the follow-up to it. We're going to continue to work with our community partners as we continue to find ways to make our community safer and continue to make our neighborhoods better. This is something I continue to say over and over and over again. As we continue to make our community safer and better, we all have to work together. I say it because I truly believe it. Columbia is the capital city of South Carolina, and we're on the forefront of many amazing initiatives. And so as we do that, this 4-Block Promise will be another one of those amazing initiatives. I'm gonna say that again. As we continue to do that, this initiative will be one of those cutting-edge initiatives that will not only work here in the city of Columbia, but will be replicated across the state and across this country. Why? Because we have people here who care and who want to work together. I can assure you that while this is just the first event associated with the initiative, over time, the 4-Block Promise will be that initiative that will bring measurable results because of the partnerships and the people working together. So again, I want to thank everyone for being here today, and we look forward to continuing to partner and working together. Thank you.